Hello Capricorn. Great to have you here. My name is Shauna. Today's reading is a general love forecast. As always, take the messages that resonate and release anything that doesn't. Don't forget to like and subscribe to stay connected with upcoming readings. Let's see what's headed your way, Capricorn.
Time, and I apologize as well for the delay. This is the Morgan Greer deck, and I wanted to give the other deck a rest. Okay, well, lots of cards out already. So the first card here is the Nine of Pentacles, Ten of Pentacles, the Knight of Cups, the Devil in the reverse position, Three of Cups, Four of Pentacles, Three of Pentacles reverse, Six of Pentacles, Two of Cups reverse, and also the Seven of Wands. Okay, so I hope you can see this all right. I like this deck mainly because the images are very dramatic, and I'm experimenting with this, and I'm trying to find a different way to use this deck rather than just reading the cards and the meaning. We're going to go more into the, I guess, the symbolic aspects of the imagery. So let's start here from the middle. I usually look at the middle two cards to signify the direction of the reading and what's really most prominent throughout the month, because we're looking at the energy, the beginning of those first 2 weeks of the month, and also the central theme that is coming through. For a lot of you, I do feel that, the Knight of Cups does indicate a proposal. This is a proposition for either a relationship or a proposition to get back together with somebody, or for a business partnership. And I do feel that it can be read both ways, mainly because it's a Knight of Cups with an offer, but it's linked up with the Three of Pentacles, which is more job, work, finance related. So in this regards, there might be a partnership coming through, in that it could be somebody from your past, and they're making a proposal to you to give this situation a second go, like basically, another chance. And you're looking at this situation somewhat skeptically, because in the past it feels as if you were putting in a lot of the work in order to sustain the relationship with this person, and you realize that, the other person wasn't there. You were putting in a lot of the work and not getting very much in return as a result of it. So even though they have good intentions, even though the intentions might be, completely pure, and they might tell you that, especially if it's somebody from your past, they might tell you that, okay, I'm in a good spot right now. I know things have been rocky in the past, but I'm in a good point in my life where I feel like I can contribute equally. So this is an assessment that you're going to have to make, and I do feel that the other person is very sincere, okay? So if it's worth it, give it another round, or give it another go and see where it takes you. But I do sense that for a lot of you, you don't really have the time to invest in dead-end relationships anymore. I've been feeling this for Capricorns for quite some time, and I feel that you're getting older, wiser, and you're starting to realize that, even though you care about the other person and you want to give them the benefit of the doubt, you don't want to dump your time into dead-end things, or you don't want to give people too many opportunities to just, either exploit you, or just to renege on their promises, or to not be able to hold up their end of the bargain when it comes to the give and take in the relationship, okay? In terms of work opportunities, I want you to be aware of this situation as well. You might be overworked. I do feel the energy is clear for this month. You might be overworked, and whoever it is that you're working under, this can be your supervisor, this can be your whoever it is that you're working directly under, supervisor, managers, for example. You're putting in a lot of the work, and they're, sweet talking you and telling you that I couldn't have done this without you, and thank God for all the effort and the work that you're putting in, and this company wouldn't be able to sustain itself without you. But they're not giving you the raise. So while they are acknowledging everything that you're doing, you're a little bit frustrated because, their actions do not back up their appreciation. So I want you to be clear about who it is that you're dealing with, because it seems as if, in this deck at least, the cup is empty. So they might just be empty words, okay? So keep an eye out for that. If you're in a company and you're perpetually slaving away, and people above you are always telling you, oh, there will be a raise next time, and then they always pass you over for that raise, for that new promotion, it's because these words are empty. They're empty promises, and they don't really have any bearing in the present, and they don't really care about long-term, prospects for you as an employee in the future. So they're not grooming you for anything. They just want you to slave away, and they throw you, a few compliments here and there, hoping that will appease you. But they don't see, they're not stepping up in terms of showing their appreciation for you. So that's something to keep an eye out for. I do feel that financially, this is a very, very solid month for everybody, for Capricorns, and for the air signs too. But I feel that financially, it is a very solid month. We are escalating from a 9 to a 10, and then in between, these are just financial obligations that you have to deal with. But in terms of gaining traction in your financial base, you're definitely starting out here with the Nine of Pentacles in a very, very good financial position. I do feel that a lot of you might be starting out this month single. You definitely got your eye out for somebody. I do sense, every time I see this woman, I do feel that, there's a flirtatious air about her, but she's very coy, and she's kind of, she's financially secure for sure. And this is traditionally, it's the card of self-employment, but this is a woman who is sending out vibes that she is interested, okay? So she's definitely coy about the flirtation, but she's making herself available. I do feel as well, for those of you who might be in a relationship with like a married couple, or you're involved with somebody who is married, or who has somebody else that they're in a relationship with, be wary about that, because their offers are going to be empty. Like, once again, empty promises, empty offers, empty cups, okay? So keep that in mind as you get through this month. I also feel as well that the work situation, you might be working a lot and underappreciated, but the financial base itself is very, very stable. I believe it was last month that I mentioned with a lot of Capricorns. A lot of Capricorns have left one very, very karmic relationship behind for this year, and you're emerging and going into another karmic relationship, okay? So it feels as if there's also that flashback energy, like the blast from the past coming through. But this time around, the offer might be different. It could be, an offer for friendship and not anything committed, because we do have the Two of Cups in the reverse position, which indicates, just possibly friendship without the strings attached. So it's a more lighthearted energy. So if you have somebody from your past coming through, and you're thinking that maybe I can rekindle things, I feel like there might be a reality check where they're not coming through for the same reasons that you think they are. So, or it could be the other way around, where you've agreed to be friends, but they're crossing boundaries, okay? So be very careful about people's intentions, and make sure their actions match up with their words, because very often people just say whatever is required of them at the time, and whatever is convenient at the time, but they don't think about long-term follow-through ramifications of what it is that they're offering. So you want to be careful when it comes to social dating, when it comes to exes, when it comes to gauging people's intentions, because I feel like you're sending out a lot of positive vibes, and people around you are just picking up your vibe, and they feel as if you're easygoing. Not that you're easy, but just because they feel that you're very approachable, you're very well liked, and you're exuding a very good aura that screams out, that you're ready to date, and you are looking for dating opportunities. You're looking for social opportunities as well. So they might misconstrue the messages that you're sending across, okay? So both of these cards indicate, social dating as well. mingling, having the holidays here in the States by the end of this month. But I do feel that there's a lot of work functions. It could be, combination of work and social functions coming through, and as a result you're making yourself available to the people around you, and you're definitely turning heads. So that's why I would say that the people might um, misconstrue the messages. So they might think that, she's, she or he is just looking to have a fling, a good time, and no strings attached. But you want to be very clear about what it is that you can expect from the other person. So mixed messages might be a little bit awkward on the social front, but aside from that, I do feel that upon interacting with somebody, you're pretty much going to be able to gauge their intention, and you're going to realize whether or not anything was miscommunicated, and that you can rectify the situation immediately. Okay, so Capricorns are very good at that, I feel, at straightening out a situation, because you have the perfect combination of problem solving, practicality, but also being blunt enough to just, fix a situation if there are miscommunication coming through. So on the social front, I do feel there's a lot of energies being drawn your way from suitors, okay? Just be careful about sending out the right messages and sending out clear intentions. So I do feel for the first, 15 days of the month, you're going to realize that the energies that you're sending out is attracting all kinds of people towards you in a very good way. But I do sense, because of these miscommunication issues coming through with somebody who has misread your intentions, for example, I feel that you're going to tone it down by, the second 2 weeks of the month, because I do feel you holding back a little bit, and possibly because of work obligations, or because you are shying away from social interactions just to avoid the mishap. So that's what I'm sensing. At the same time, I definitely feel there is a significant person in the picture for this month that you have an eye on, that you are potentially very interested in. And I do feel for a lot of you, it might be a water sign. It could be male or female, Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio. But I do feel that this person is capturing your attention. And you might shy away from social gatherings, social functions, mainly because you want to see how things will develop with this person. So I feel that, you're opening yourself up the first 2 weeks, and then you're starting to withdraw from the social interactions, or you might be very selective about which invitations you take up on the off chance that the other person might be there, okay? I do feel as well, if you are dealing with a water sign and it's a new person, you have to make your intentions known, because the other person is looking the other way, and he or she might not be able to gauge your interest, because you're over here expressing interest and possibly drawing in the wrong people, when the person that you like is over here preoccupied with something else. Not another relationship, I don't feel. Possibly a failed relationship that they've had to contend with in the past. So as a result of it, they're not emotionally, or even they're not mentally, emotionally, physically present to receive the vibes that you're sending their way. So there might be that situation where you feel as if, you're being overlooked, when in fact you haven't registered on their radar. So I feel like you have to push yourself out of your comfort zone in order to let your intentions be known, okay? For those of you who are a couple, I do feel there's a lot of stability associated with coupled Capricorns right now. We do have the Ten of Pentacles here, which indicates, a happy home. It indicates stability, and in this situation, it is a couple taking care of one another. We also have the Four of Pentacles, in which one party is hanging on tightly to the other party. I don't feel control issues, but I do sense that it's a mutually supportive relationship where there is a very strong foundation, okay? For those of you who are just, I'm sensing that there might be a lot of spending, social spending coming out of your, pocketbook this month, in which there's a lot of work parties, work functions, And I'm sensing even, if it's one of those things where it's like, you're supporting another person through something. If it's like wedding, if it's major celebrations, there's quite a bit of money leaving your pocket, is what I'm sensing here with the Six of Pentacles. And the Six of Pentacles indicates to me that it's in the reverse position. So, for example, there might be some kind of flake out coming in from other people. So everyone has chipped in to get, to buy something, and they're telling you, oh, we'll all chip in, and then you front the cost, and then we'll pay you back. And then they start bailing out one by one. So this is something you want to be careful about. So don't play the martyr here. Just make sure everyone has submitted the money, or whatever it is that is the lump sum that is needed to procure something, to purchase something. Make sure that is covered up first before you go out and actively purchase the item, okay? So I do feel a little bit of flake out energy when it comes to the financial situation. I also sense as well that if that's the case, you might have a little bit of a heavy battle ahead of you trying to recoup your cost, okay? Recoup your loss, excuse me. So this is something to keep an eye out for. Try to see if there's anything else in here that I've forgotten. I'm sensing that for a lot of you, especially Capricorn men who are single, I do feel, both of these cards indicate to me a lot of attraction, a lot of women, or whatever gender you're dating. A lot of people are throwing themselves your way. But you're a little bit self-protective, but you might have several options in general, but I do feel that you're trying to keep things light, and you're trying to work on your own financial situation. You're more concerned about work, and you're more concerned about casual dating than serious relationship. But both of these cards indicate to me that there's a lot of people who are interested coming your way. Capricorn women in general, I do feel that you are exuding a very, very good aura about you, and you're definitely getting their attention, but they might not make a move towards you, mainly because they're dealing with some residual impact of some failed previous relationship. We have the Two of Cups here, and also the Devil in the reverse position. So I do sense, they're kind of like emerging from it. They're coming out of it, and they're trying to pick up the pieces of their own lives, and as a result, they might be a little bit defensive. And overall, they're not really catching the energy and the vibes that you're sending out, okay? So something to keep an eye out for, but I do feel it is going to be a very romantic month. The last 2 weeks of the month, there is definitely money coming out. There's a little bit of distraction on the work front when it comes to like either attraction, chemistry, or some type of workplace attraction that's coming through, possibly from multiple people. And you might get offers from multiple people here with the Three of Cups, ending with the Seven of Wands, which indicates, potentially figuring out within yourself who it is that you might have the best chemistry and the best fit with, especially for you men out there. I do feel that you're going to be very well received. There's a lot of suitors. There's a lot of potential love interests coming through as well. Just be wary about spending, especially like on the emotional front. If you are somewhat, just make sure that you're not, I feel funny saying this, but I do feel that, the Devil card reverse, even though it's in the reverse position, it's with another Pentacles card. So I do feel that it's wasteful spending. Wasteful spending. Be careful about wasteful spending, whether it's spending to, having an emotional response to spending where you've had a bad day and you want to splurge on, some top designer things, just so that you can feel good momentarily, because you will come to regret it. And additionally, your financial situation, while it's good, it's not going to be able to sustain, emotional spending long term. At the same time, I'm also getting here, if you have a habit of, flaunting your money, just be very careful about that, because I do sense you might attract the wrong crowd. I mean, naturally is good advice in general, but if all they see is all the riches and the wealth and they don't really see you as a person and they're drawn to it, I do feel that that's something you want to be very mindful about, okay? If you are trying to look for long-term stable relationships and you're just flaunting um, external things that don't really have any bearing on who you are as a person, and you might attract the wrong kinds of attention. All right, so just be careful about that. And I mean, like, not just the wrong people, but just the wrong situations as well, such as crime of opportunity. We might see that happening, so just be very careful about that for this month. Don't flaunt, and allow people to get to know you on a more personal basis. So if they're going through a conversation with you, and through like courtship and dating, and if you're meeting somebody for a drink and they ask like no personal questions about you, I feel like that's a good indicator for you to know that they're not interested in you as a person. They might have ulterior motives as to why they're associating with you, but that's a red flag, okay? So I feel like men, just be careful about that, okay? Make sure the other person is genuine and that they asked you some questions about you. Either they're not interested and they're just looking to sleep around, or they're just looking for what you have to offer financially, or you could just be dating somebody who's very self-centered. So none of those cases are ideal. So just be very careful about that on the dating front. I do feel a lot of dating opportunities, and the cards are all indicating, basically, it's a very romantic, other center type of ambiance. Make sure you devote your time to the right people and get to know people's motives, okay? Get to know people's intentions and motives for you so that you can shut it down early on so things don't get dragged on and they become awkward, okay? Because you might go through like, 4 or 5 dates and then people show their true colors, and then it's kind of awkward at that point to, tell them, maybe we're not jiving well, so maybe we shouldn't be dating. So I do hope, Capricorns, you have a wonderful month, and I will be back for the next 2 weeks. I'll try to come back for the weekly, for the mid-month reading, all right? So have a wonderful, wonderful month. I apologize for the delay in getting this video out to you. If you'd like a private reading, contact me at temperatestar@gmail.com. I will talk to you soon. Take care of yourself and enjoy your romantic month, all right?